Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. Today we're going to be trying kind of like a collector's thing. Maybe you might call it a gimmick. You might call it celebrity whiskey, but it's another one of those. Now, every now and then, this stuff's not bad. Okay, so some of like the Offerman Lagavulin stuff has been pretty good. I really liked the New Holland D&D collaboration. Was a phenomenal bottle. This is kind of along those lines. This is Whitestone Courage. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the Dungeons & Dragons or tabletop gaming community as a whole, you might not know of a group called Critical Role. Now, Critical Role is a group of voice actors who work in like animation and video games as, portraying characters that we see, we play, we watch. So they've actually, one of them was Ellie in The Last of Us, right? And then she actually made like a physical appearance as Ellie's mom in the HBO series as the actress there. A lot of the other ones play a lot of like Marvel superheroes in animated shows, movies, and video games, like the voice actor for Thor, Doctor Strange, the Black Widow. Anyways, this group of friends who are voice actors decided to start playing tabletop games together, specifically Dungeons and Dragons, and they recorded their sessions to make like a YouTube series and a podcast. It ended up really being quite popular, quite successful. And, if you've ever played Dungeons & Dragons, part of playing the game is role-playing a character. So they were just naturally really good at doing that because they're actors. Anyways, it took off. It became a international phenomenon. They've done several campaigns of D&D, so much so that they turned one of them into, well, I think it's now a couple of their campaigns. They've turned into an animated series on Amazon Prime called Vox Machina. If you've ever watched that, it's those people. Now, they're celebrating 10 years of being a group together called Critical Role. Now they've partnered with Quest End Whiskey to make Whitestone Courage. Whitestone is the name of a city in their mythical world they made up, right? So that's what this is. So this is not an American single malt. It's blended malt whiskey distilled in both Oregon and Arizona, I believe. Interesting, because those two states are very different. It comes in at 98 proof. The price tag on this was like $110, I think, because it was like a full package deal where you got the bottle and you got some other commemorative stuff to celebrate Critical Role's 10-year anniversary. So that's what this is. We'll taste it. We'll see if it's any good, right? Just for the heck of it. Because I feel like, if I'm being honest, most whiskey like this is not that great. And it's usually something that you keep on your shelf just as a display thing. Like, hey, I celebrated the 10-year anniversary of this group because I'm a big fan of theirs. This is a commemorative bottle, sort of a collector's thing. Sometimes that's what it's like. It's not really that great whiskey, but it looks really good on a shelf, and you get to say that you were a part of this thing they did. But every now and then, the whiskey's actually pretty good. We'll see if this is the case here. Big shout out to John, who sent in a sample from his bottle, because I did not pick this bottle up myself, even though I am admittedly a Dungeons & Dragons nerd. I DM for, here, I'll show you. Literally right next to me, because I DM some nights of the week. I've got the Monster Manual for Dungeons & Dragons. I've got the Player's Handbook, looking up the rules. I've got the Dungeon Master's Guide. I have my DMing screen with my cheat sheets for all kinds of things in here, like status effects and spell fields and all that business. So I think that it's very possible for someone to be into whiskey and other manly things like that, but also be a bit of a nerd, because that's me. So anyways, let's try this. Whitestone Courage. I mean, it noses like an American single malt. Now, it can't be called a single malt if it was distilled in two different places and blended together. It's a blended malt whiskey, right? Distilled in two places, blended together, it makes sense. It is all malted barley, though. Now, I do have to kind of bust Sealbox's chops here, because Sealbox is one of the places you could order this bottle through. And on the bottle, they got the labeling correct. It says blended malt whiskey. Now, Sealbox's write-up about the bottle calls it an American single malt. It is not an American single malt. That label has specific criteria, and this bottle does not meet the criteria to be called an American single malt. Being a little nitpicky here, but seal box, that ain't right. Got to fix it. Anyways, reminds me of like saltine crackers and honey on the nose. You ever have a bit of honey? I love bit of honey as a candy. It reminds me of a bit of honey on the nose. Right? Real thick honey, but also there's just a soft kind of a taffy to it and a little bit of nuttiness. Like your mixed bar nuts, your hazelnuts, things like that. Other than that, it's not overly complex in the nose, but it is pleasant. Let's try it. Cheers. That is very sweet. It is very honey forward. That is the very first thing I get on this sip was this big old wave of honey, sweetness, stickiness, and then those like a little bit of like bitterness follows it up. And I hesitate to call it like, it's the kind of bitterness you get from dark chocolate, but it's not dark chocolatey in terms of flavor. It's the same sort of bitterness that you get from dark chocolate though. The finish to me is like fresh baked biscuits, right? The sweetness kind of lingers a little bit, hangs on there, so it's not all savory, but you get this sort of salty biscuit kind of a note that just kind of stretches out into the finish there. Huh. It's got a better mouthfeel than I expected it to have. 98 proof isn't like super low, but they definitely could have gone lower than that. So respect for keeping it, because like single malts, malt whiskeys in general, a lot of time are lower proof. But this one's just barely under 100 proof, and so it maintains some of that slippery slickness to it in terms of mouthfeel that I do appreciate. All in all, that is not a very complex pour by any means, but it's pretty palatable. It's not bad at all. Sweet, slippery, sticky. I like that honey note and a little bit of like that hazelnut kind of a vibe going on there. I appreciate that. I don't think it does anything like super inventive or like pushes the boundaries of anything, but for like a kind of a celebrity bottle, this is not bad, right? I don't know that it tastes like a $110 whiskey, but like I said, you're getting the whole package here, like a pin and a display and all that business that's sort of wrapped up into that price tag, and the fact that it's a limited release commemorating a special occasion. So all that makes sense. I got no qualms with that, really. All in all, I can't knock it too much as being like a real gimmicky thing, because I think it actually is pretty decent whiskey. If it sucked in terms of whiskey, like a lot of this, like you remember, God forbid, the freaking Dr. Disrespect, Jim Beam whiskey, that was terrible. It was terrible. That's too bad, because I like Jim Beam quite a bit. But that whiskey was bad. It was just, there's no way around it. And a lot of celebrity whiskey stuff is like that. It's just bad. Or like the Traveler, right? Why am I spacing on his name? Country singer, Buffalo Trace collaboration. That bottle, I thought that bottle was bad. I didn't, like, not just, oh, it's just not great. I thought it was, like, I would not reach for that bottle on purpose just because I did not enjoy drinking it. I just thought it was bad whiskey, which I was shocked because, like, Chris Stapleton, I knew it would come to me. But, like, the initial impressions of the Traveler bottle were that it wasn't great. But then, like, for some reason, I felt like later in the year, the reviews started to take a turn towards the positive. And I revisited that bottle several times. Like, am I crazy? And then every time I tasted it, I was like, no, I don't think I'm crazy. I just don't like it. And maybe that's just a palate thing, a personal preference thing. But I thought that was bad whiskey for me and my palate. And most celebrity whiskeys are. But some of them aren't. And I can't say... Here, let me grab it. I can't say this is a celebrity whiskey, but the Dungeons and Dragons collaboration with New Holland, this bottle's incredible. It's a mead finish, but it's like, it's not some cheap whiskey that they just said, hey, let's just partner with the cheapest juice we can get and have a special bottle made. Like, this is New Holland's Origin Distillate, which is fire stuff, and then finished in mead casks. And it's really freaking good. And the bottling is exceptional, right? The red tassels and the like it comes with a dragon's head spout that you can put in here too to pour out of. Just a dynamite collaborative thing that they did. So that's sort of like my gold standard for what whiskey like this should be like. I can say this isn't quite as good as this, but this is still pretty good, right? I like it. Thanks again, John, for sharing it with me. I appreciate you, brother. The thing about these kinds of bottles, though, is it's hard. You can't, like, wait for a review that you trust and then buy the bottle. Because they tend to be like, this is a special edition thing. We're dropping it now. If you get a bottle, great. If you don't, you missed it, right? They don't last. So you almost always have to roll the dice on them. I wasn't intending to make a dice pun with the critical role thing, but I did. Let's just pretend it was on purpose and that I'm very witty and clever. But anyways, yeah, not bad. I like that. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the video. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the video, would you let me know by leaving a like on it, as that is the best free way to support the content right here on YouTube. And consider joining our Discord group. Totally free to do so. Get in there, link in the description. Introduce yourself. We'd love to get to know you. Hey, cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get that splashed. I did that a little harder than I intended to. May you live richly and get better with age, and hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.